Okay, good evening, and this is case 7 on the Medinx today, and we have me, Dr. Ashish, Dr. Arvind, my nurses, Frederick in the cath lab, technicians, and we have all our colleagues who are going to do this case with us. Is an interesting gentleman, 56-year-old male who came with non-ST elevation with a trough 1.69 yesterday night. He had a previous angioplasty to the LAD obtuse marginal in 2014 in an outside hospital. We'll show you the angiogram, and what it shows is an in-stent restenosis of the LAD and the OM. There's a moderate LV function, which is about 40%. Renals are good, and the syntax score is 10. So can we have the diagnostic angiogram? Yeah. So this is the diagnostic angiogram and the RAO, and you can see that there is in-stent restenosis just in the proximal part of the circumflex, just prior to the stent deployed in the, which was a full occlusion at that point of time. And then we have the neck part, and we had another lesion in the left anteri descending artery distal to the stent in the LAD. The two views show that our plan now is to show you imaging with treatment of the in-stent restenosis, the LAD and marginal in this case, and we will now go live onto the case. The right has some disease. We are not doing anything to that. So if we can go now live to the case, what we've done right now is just cross the LAD and pre-dilated with a balloon in the LAD. So that's a 2.5 or a 3 balloon, 2.5 balloon. So we pre-dilated the LAD in to the maximum stenosis. You can see there is some mild calcium, but the is expanded reasonably well. After which our plan is to do an OCT to show what is happening to the lesion. So just completed the pre-dilatation. We'll now take a picture. Okay, so it's reasonable flows in the LA. We'll give some nitroglycerine and pull the balloon and start the OCT run of the left anteri descending. So when you do an in-stent restenosis, the most important thing is when imaging, and why we imaging is for 3 reasons. Is to know what is the reason for the in-stent restenosis. The reasons for in-stent restenosis are either under-deployed stent during the first procedure. The second is a geographical miss, either pre or post lesion, where you moved and landed the stent, especially when you have had plaque burden which is high in the proximal or distal part of the stent deployed. And finally, the third reason is when you get accelerated atherosclerosis or the neoatherosclerosis within the stented segment. Now, the best way to image in-stent restenosis is definitely OCT, because it gives you all the important messages what are required for deciding of what next to do. So let's get the OCT catheter now, and this is a Abbott St. Jude OCT catheter, which we are now getting down the lesion. As you know, OCT functions on light, and the reasons we use it over the intravascular ultrasound for imaging in-stent restenosis, it gives you certain characteristics, especially what is the form of in-stent restenosis, whether it's an underdeployed stent. Atherosclerosis is very well imaged with CT. So you can see that we can go a bit further. Go in. Yeah, go right through the stent. So we go right across the stent with the OCT catheter. A little bit further, I think.
Some also.
Press a live image. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so we just make sure that the catheter flush there. Okay.
So
1 minute. Okay.
putting it on. All right. No, sir. That's correct. This is the
Okay, so let's look at the OCT now and see what we have. We're now doing an ACR for the
just
so we've created the ACR for the OCT, and now we will start reading from the distal. As you can see, this tree is almost 1, 2, and 3 plus. It looks reasonable at that level. It's a normal segment
slightly also you can come.
where you can see the LAD. It's a pretty disease-free vessel. There's a bit of calcium there.
Some calcium.
About
Go down a little bit.
So I think we need to go a bit.
This was the probably
This is possibly the distant area of the balloon. And you can see as you come back that the lumen is small. And a lot of calcium here. And that's stent. So you can see the stented area. So the entire tighter lesion looks just proximal to the stent. The stent looks reasonably deployed. There's a mild intimal hypoplasia in the distal area. As you come forward, the vessel looks good. And the proximal part, left main and LAD looks okay. So I think the lesion seems prominently, Ashish, in the area proximal to the stent.
Distal to the stent.
Sorry, distal stent. And we will now possibly make some measurements. Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, it may be a sort of little rupture. So the minimum areas are 1.7 mean diameter, and the max is around 1.8, with the distal vessel size being reasonably good. Which can you come a little bit more? Yeah. So the area lumen area is around 6, and the minimum area is 2.45 and is about 3, and the mean diameter is about 2.79. So probably we can take a 3 millimeter stent up to the distal portion of the LAD stent.
Okay, so what we're now going to do is see the distal area is 2.79.
Only thing is, should
and
use
the proximal stented area is about 3 millimeters. So we have two options, Ashish. We can either use a 275 or a 3. Can we measure the length from the distal area of the stent to the from the distal end of the stent?
No, why are you going so up?
Not from the proximal,
No.
from the distal?
No. I'm just at the distal alone. There is some NIH.
Yeah, that's okay. We need from the distal end of the stent.
Yeah, that's fine.
So from the distal end of the stent, you need to measure to the common area.
At the diagonal.
So it's about 24. So what we'll do is we pre-dilate it with a 2.5, isn't it?
Correct.
So let's do a 3.0 in the middle part where the lesion is still underdone. You know, the lesion and then deploy a 10-26 stent on it. So give me a 3O balloon first. Thank you. So what did the OCT tell us? The OCT told us that we have possibly a geographical miss. The stent was deployed and the lesion has distal to the stent, following which there is the stent itself has been well deployed, and there's minor new hyperplasia. So that's good. So let's go ahead and pre-dilate the lesion completely, prepare the bed well before we stent. So 3 millimeter balloon and then a 3/26 stent, please.
So 3/12 non-compliant balloons taken.
Yeah, sure. We'll take a 3/26. Yeah. Open the stent, please, and keep it prepped here.
Plating nicely. Deflate. Oh. 1 second.
Watching the paper on the wire, so yeah. நீங்க ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் பண்ணுங்க ப்ளீஸ். கூகுள் டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணாதீங்க. அவர் பிளாக் ட்ரீட் பண்றாரு. பாய் அனுப்பி பாரதிய வாங்கி ஒயிட் கலர் போட்டு கரெக்ஷன் பண்ணி கொடுங்க.
4, 6, 8.
So we prepared the bed reasonably, get the balloon off, and then we get 3/26 stent in. Okay. So prep the 3/26 stent, please, sister.
Should we use the same platform? Switches, please.
Yeah, sure.
8.
Let's take a shot and then we'll take a 3/0 stent. The previous stent was a Zines in the LAD. So let's get a 3/028 Zines, please. 3/28 Zines, please. Yeah.
You can come little RAO or something. Once you deploy, you just see the proximal edge also. Yeah. Short man.
So the normal part of the LAD distal to the lesion is at the diagonal. Is it close to the diagonal?
Close to the diagonal.
So I think we can use that as an angiographic parameter. We can also use the ACR to make that decision. So you can make some measurements and please give it to them, please, from the ACR. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just at the diagonal. So the OCT tells you very clearly that we should be deploying the stent just before the diagonal. So we're going to use a 3/28. Place the distal end of the stent just before the diagonal, and the rest will overlap into the other stent. Yeah. Let's go AP cranial.
Yes. Okay, on Cine here.
Camera position.
Should we
Yeah, we can go a bit down. Yeah, that's good.
I'll just see a small cine noni.
That looks reasonable. So go up there, please. Yeah.
Yeah, go.
So we'll now deploy the stent at normal pressures. And then we'll post dilate with the 3O balloon. Sister, can we prep the 3O balloon, please?
Deflate. Once more. Once more. Okay. And deflate.
Patient name Sajia. ஏசி பண்ணிட்டாங்களா SACHIKA
Okay. Angiographically, it looks good, but we're going to do a post dilatation at high pressures with the 3O balloon next. And then we'll go down with the OCT and reinterrogate the LED.
3 balloon.
So we will get the OCT prep next, sister, please.
Okay, go. 12.
12, 14, 16, 18, 20.
So at the distal edge of the next stent, new stent, we are going at a 20 atmosphere. Go. Waiting for about 5 seconds, 10 seconds at 20 atmospheres. 20. Deflate. Right. Then the right. Right. We have inflated the overlapping segment also. We'll just image it and then take a decision on any further post dilatation if required. Now we'll just directly take OCT to minimize the dia as well.
So during the OCT, we use a pressure injector always to get good pictures. We always try to use an ACR to measure where we are at. This gentleman has a normal urea creatinine, so we don't need to worry too much about the dye, but try to minimize the dye as much as possible.
Yeah.
So let's have a puff to see that the clearance is there.
All right. So can you just do
Check the clearance, please.
the short left main? Yeah, flush. Clear the OCT. Yeah, 1 second. Sorry.
Okay, that's good.
Right, all clear.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, now it's clear. Check. Okay. Yeah, I'm done. Sort of slow flow. I think is fine. Give some integer and some nicotine as well.
Okay, so we've done an ACR again. We're going to give some nitroglycerin and with some Noriflow, but okay.
ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணுங்க எனக்கு 3 தடவை பண்ண சரியா இருக்கு உங்க டக்குனு ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணுங்க வர வர எனக்கு ஒரு இது வாங்கிட்டு கான்ட்ரிபியூஷன் கொடுப்பாங்க கான்ட்ரிபியூஷன் வாங்கி வீடியோ கொடுப்பாங்க இது ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுங்க ஆமா
Tissue prolapse, I think. You can show.
வாங்கி பி லேப் வைக்கணும்னா
Okay, so let's read the OCT again. So we first go distally.
So,
Ashish, you can go ahead. Yeah.
So as we have, can you freeze here? So this is the distal edge of the stent. The beauty of the OCT is that overall expansion, and it all automates with the system. And we do get a reasonably expanded vessel number as well. Now, if you notice, if you take the proximal to the distal segment, the expansion shows about 110% to 119%. As we go up the distal segment, it doesn't show any dissection, no thrombus. So we have well to do with the distal portion. So coming to the proximal end, we don't see any malapposition, but coming to the certain areas, there is some sort of little tissue prolapse, probably little thrombus as well. But if you notice, the overall expansion is about 150%. And as you keep coming up, there's some sort of little tissue prolapse, but ideally I won't do anything to this tissue prolapse because it doesn't affect the TB flow as well. Over here, there was a diagonal branch. That's the reason you notice some malapposition. And coming, this is the overlap segment with the previous stent. Could you freeze that, please? Come back. Yeah. This is the overlap segment with the prior stent. Now you notice that some sort of neo-intimal hyperplasia is also there, and but it is a reasonably expanded stent. And coming to the upper portion to the previous stent, some sort of little NIH with some little calcium noted, but the lumen size is reasonably good. So ideally, I wouldn't do anything as of now. And the ostium of the LED also looks good. So we are fine with it. I don't think so. We need to expand anything further to this.
Okay, thanks, Ashish. So that's a good expansion of the new stent with a good overlap. The recent PCI shows good outcomes on the OCT. So we finish with this, and then we go after the circumflex. So let's now cannulate the circ and wire the circ, and then do similarly. So we will wire into the circ and then have a look with the balloon. Yeah. So the circ was proximal to the previous stent, while the LED was distal. So now we are wired into the circ and into the OM. And we're going to use a 3 millimeter balloon just like last time to pre-dilate, please.
So this
2.5 balloon, please.
had a very short left main. Ideally, in radial, we have some difficulties, but I had taken a backup guide from the Thermo, and it is a 3.0, so that you can easily engage the LED and the LCX as well. So it just need little anti-clockwise direction, and you face into the LCX. So I didn't have any difficulty in accessing the LCX with this guide as well.
Okay, so Ashish, let's go ahead and pre-dilate and then.
Yeah, no need. You just go direct.
Sure.
So we can get a new recording for the circ, please.
யாரும் கவனிக்கவே இல்லை.
So we do a similar plan on the circ. So we got a 2.5 balloon to pre-dilate the circ. Long difficulty going down that bend. So we may have to, and this is the previous balloon. So it's once open balloon in the LED. Yeah, so maybe it's either to the strut, which is a possibility, but or it could be. So what we'll do is, Ashish, is that what we can simply do is get a New York balloon. Get a New York 2.0 balloon, please. Get a New York 2.0 balloon. Can we run that last picture on the circ, please, before we go in? So there are two issues. One is the stent was
At the ostium.
just about at the ostium. So we could be either through a strut of the circ, or it could be that the previously deployed balloon has lost its profile. And so we're going to use a smaller balloon and see if it tracks through. Otherwise, we'll bring the wire back and then recross and see how it happens. Yeah.
Doesn't look through the strut though. Doesn't look through the strut.
We'll have a look. If this balloon tracks through easily, it should be good.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can see that the balloon crossed through that strut area and is having little difficulty in crossing the tight lesion. Okay, but it's through the proximal parts. It's not the issue anymore of the going through the strut. I think it's more related to the balloon hitting the top of the stent, and that's the tight part of the lesion. So you need to get in a bit further. Take a small shot, please. Yeah, it's fine.
Come, okay. Plain.
Small shot.
Okay.
Inject, please. So it doesn't seem to be the tight part of the lesion. It seems to be some point where the balloon is hitting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
so we'll take another wire, a buddy wire, and see what happens. Reflect the whole thing off the. Yeah, it's another BMW wire, please. We play the last shot.